Good morning. It's a pleasure to welcome everyone to Jamestown for the opening of the National Comedy Center. Thank you all for being here. Before we begin, I would like to recognize some of the special guests we have here with us today. National Comedy Center Chairman Tom Benson. City of Jamestown Mayor Sam Teresi, Senator Catherine Young, Assemblyman Andy Goodell, Chautauqua County Executive George Borrello, Secretary of State Rosanna Rosado, members of the County Legislature and Jamestown City Council, Chautauqua County District Attorney Patrick Swanson, City of Dunkirk Mayor Willie Rosas, and Fredonia Mayor Athanasia Landis. This morning, we will first hear from Empire State Development President Howard Zemsky. We will then hear from Governor Andrew Cuomo, and then Mayor Sam Teresi will close the program, and we will cut the ribbon to the new National Comedy Center. This is an exciting day for Jamestown and for all of us. The National Comedy Center is the first nonprofit, national-scale cultural institution and visitor attraction dedicated to telling the vital story of comedy in America. After it did seem like just a pipe dream when the board of directors and Tom Benson hired me in 2011, we worked our way through fundraising every step of the way, using each raised dollar to put toward the preceding feasibility analysis, the master planning, the concept phase, the design phase, breaking ground on the construction phase, then the production phase, and finally, over these last few weeks, the beta testing phase with more than 300 visitors. And now I am proud and mostly relieved to say that what we have produced is getting the reaction we always hoped that it would. From comedic artists themselves calling it everything from home to heaven over the last couple of weeks, to Louis Black promoting it on The Late Show with Stephen Colbert, to 300 beta testers saying, wow, I could spend days here and not see everything. Thanks to the support of Governor Cuomo, we have finally been able to bring Lucille Ball's original vision for Jamestown to fruition. There's one person in this room who deserves as much, if not more, credit than anyone for this becoming a reality. National Comedy Center Chairman Tom Benson. I'm glad to see you here in the room. In preparing for this morning, we did what we have been doing for 8 years, which is teamwork leadership. And so that I could speak here to you today, he was going to be running around making sure we were actually ready to open the doors to the visitors at 9 a.m. for the grand opening, but I'm glad to see he's here so that we can all tell him how appreciative we are. This is the kind of teamwork and leadership that I absolutely think has gotten us to this opening day. And so once again, I'd like to thank Governor Andrew Cuomo for his support in this project. We truly would not be here without you. Please join me now in welcoming someone who was also instrumental in this effort and who I remember giving presentations to 7 years ago and thinking, does this guy believe that this could ever be a reality? Thank goodness that you did. Please join me in welcoming Empire State Development President and CEO Howard Zemsky.
Good morning, everyone. Great to be here. Congratulations, Journey and Tom and the board and everyone who's participated in this for so many years. It's a great day. You know, if you've been to any of our presentations in the past, and some of you are smiling, which is okay to do here, then you know we have tried to be funny. I'm generally the warm-up act for the governor. But in this venue, being funny is a lot of pressure. So I don't think I'm going to take a shot at it. But I do want to say that at our last event that we did together here, it ended up on YouTube. And you can view it if you choose. It has one viewer so far. My father. And I asked him what he thought. He said, I have good potential. I said, Dad, I'm 60. Keep it up, kid. Anyway, you know, we have people that are represented in this comedy center. People like Lucille Ball, George Carlin, Billy Crystal, Mel Brooks, Whoopi Goldberg, and Jay Leno. And the governor and I have something in common with all of them, in addition to our humor. We're all New Yorkers, and that's important. And New York is the best state to be from. Let's hear it for New York. And I should say that I have observed in my 3.5 years with the state that people who are from Brooklyn are a bit funnier than the people who are from Queens. It's just an observation I've made over time. There's no particular reason I'm bringing it up here and today. Under the leadership of Governor Cuomo, ESD has worked hard to orchestrate a plan that supports the tourist industry in Chautauqua County. This region has so much to offer, as you know, with gorgeous lakes, a variety of wineries, I've tried them all, skiing, golf courses, hiking, biking trails, and a new one right here in Jamestown, I understand, Mayor, snowmobiling, world-renowned Chautauqua Institution, where I'm a taxpayer. And of course, the Babe Ruth Baseball 16-18 World Series beginning this Saturday at Jamestown's historic Dietrich Park, which is another, by the way, proud state investment. Let's hear it for World Series. We have supported projects like the Waterfront Revitalization Program, the Riverwalk Trail along the scenic Chautauqua River, including the pedestrian bridges, the Tracy Plaza Green renovations, the development of infrastructure for passenger rail excursion service. We have supported and invested in our centers for the arts and education, helping to upgrade the Reg Linné Center for the Arts, the Lucille Ball Theater, and the Robert Jackson Center, and truly make Chautauqua County a place for lifelong learning. And when more people come here and visit here, they're looking for places to stay, and we need to offer them more places to stay. And we're proud, as part of the Downtown Revitalization Initiative, to support a new hotel project under construction, the Downtown Hilton Doubletree Inn here in Jamestown. These projects, as you know, are driven by our focus on place-based investments, downtown revitalization, creating places that young people want to stay, that all of us want to stay, but attractive to young people to keep and recruit young people, because across upstate, for 40 years, we lost a disproportionate share of our young population. So creating great places and great downtowns and great riverfronts is key to economic development and building on our incredible array of tourist attractions, including, of course, now the National Comedy Center. So let it be known that Governor Cuomo is serious about Jamestown economic transformation, and the Comedy Center is proof that he also enjoys a good laugh. And Lord knows that I don't provide enough of that. So it is my pleasure to introduce the greatest supporter of the National Comedy Center and of Jamestown, of all of Western New York, and the greatest supporter that upstate has ever had, Governor Andrew Cuomo.
Good morning. Thank you. Thank you very, very much. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. It is an exciting day, and I'll be relatively brief because we have to cut a ribbon. Howard Zemsky never listens to me. I said to him, do not try to be funny. This is the National Comedy Center. Just avoid it. But he tried, and he is funny. He is naturally funny. But even more, he is a great economic development genius for the state of New York, and he's done great work. Let's give him a round of applause. Howard Zemsky. Jeremy Gunderson and Tom Benson, thank you so, so much for this gift. Let's give them a round of applause for their good work. Mayor Sam Teresi, pleasure to be with you, all the local officials, Senator Young and Assemblyman Andy Goodell, who are partners in this effort. The state is proud to be the largest investor in this National Comedy Center, and it wouldn't happen without Kathy Young and Andy Goodell. So thank you very much. Let's give them a round of applause. You know, there are many facets to what we're doing today with this opening. On a parochial interest, as governor is investing money from the state of New York, it's about economic development, it's about jobs. That's the motivation for the state government. And I'm excited about the Comedy Center's potential in that regard. I think it's going to be synergizing and catalyzing tourism for the entire region. We already see it coming. We felt it developing. We have invested in it on the state side, and it's been a great, great success. You know, for many years, upstate New York was a secret. You know, we didn't advertise it. We didn't get it out. We didn't talk about the assets that we have. We get 50 million international tourists to New York City, but we never said that's only half the New York story. Come see New York City, but then we have a whole second chapter of upstate New York and history and rural beauty and nature, and it's all together. And we've been doing that through the I Love New York campaign that is telling the world about upstate New York. And it is working. Tourism has been a phenomenal industry and a phenomenal growth industry. Over 240 million visitors. The state hit a new record in terms of tourism. It's up 20% in the amount of income that we're generating. It's now over a $100 billion industry for the state of New York. So it really is big business. It's over $550 million now for the Chautauqua-Allegheny area alone. And I think this is going to take those numbers and bring them to a new level. And it's not just the Comedy Center. It's the combination. It's the synergy with the new hotels that have been done, with Riverwalk, with the Jamestown downtown redevelopment, the DRI that you won, Downtown Revitalization Initiative grant. So congratulations to that, with the Winter Garden. And Western New York overall is having a resurgence. Howard, who's a Buffalo boy, talks about the Buffalo, Western New York resurgence all the time. Young people coming back, believe it or not, millennials coming back. So from an economic point of view, job generating point of view, it's all good news. And I think this investment by the state is going to reap dividends. And that's why I'm proud to do it on behalf of the people of the state. But there's another facet also, which is this is a more powerful story of just realizing a dream. This, in the 1980s, Council on the Arts went to Lucille Ball and said, you know, we'd like to do a Lucille Ball Comedy Center in Jamestown. And she said, well, I think you should think bigger. And not just about Lucille Ball, it should be a national center for the art of comedy. Because that's what comedy is, and it should celebrate the art, and it should be about not just one person, Lucille Ball, it should be about a national center for the art. And that started a long, long journey. And Tom Benson and Journey Apley Gunderson had a dream, they had a vision, and they chased it, and they refused to be deterred. They said, we are going to make it happen, no matter how seemingly difficult it is, $50 million, where do we start? They refused to fail. And they said, we're going to make this happen. And that story is the New York story. Howard said, we're all New Yorkers. If there's a commonality to New Yorkers, it is that spirit. We have a dream, we have a vision, and we're going to make it happen, and we are not going to be deterred. That's what made New York, New York. Everything we did was impossible when it was first mentioned. The Erie Canal was impossible. Governor DeWitt Clinton, they wanted to impeach out of insanity for posing the idea. That's how outrageous it was. Every engineering marvel, all the bridges, all the tunnels, all the buildings, they were all impossible. And the New York spirit said, we can make it happen. Even though everybody says it can't be done, we can do it. And this is a metaphor for that spirit. And it's a spirit that upstate New York has to rekindle. Because it has been a long period of decline for upstate New York, but those days are gone. And the days of potential are back. The economy is coming back. Young people are coming back. You have a new partner in state government. And the sky is the limit. And there's nothing that we can't do. We are New Yorkers. And when we come together, we can do anything. And this National Comedy Center says that also. And it says that in a way that is going to bring national attention to Jamestown. And it'll be good for the economy. People will pay taxes. We'll make the mayor happy. People will have jobs. But it's also good for the spirit. And it's good for the persona of New York. New York is back, and Jamestown is back, and Western New York is back. And the National Comedy Center is just another manifestation of that revitalization. It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you, and God bless you.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Mayor Teresi.
The governor of New York has the greatest podium on the planet with a little kick-out footstool here. So I love when the governor comes to town. I get the opportunity to introduce him or say a few comments because I get to stand on this nifty little footstool. So I am Sam Teresi. I am the very, very proud, relieved, grateful, and like a lot of you in the audience, exhausted mayor of Jamestown, both physically and mentally, because this has been a long, long dream for this community and a hard, hard road. And thinking, my mind was traveling while some of the remarks were being made today. And I came back to one of my favorite comments attributed to President John F. Kennedy. Success has 1,000 fathers. Failure is an orphan. Happy Father's Day, Jamestown, because this is a big, big, big success. So. Another good friend of mine once told me that there's 1,000 reasons why a deal doesn't happen, and only one why it does. And that's because somebody or a group of somebody have taken care of all the 1,000 things that can go wrong, address them, and make the project move forward and go right. And that's the story, not only of the National Comedy Center over the past 33 years, but also what's been happening in Jamestown. And I have to take a minute or two right now to join the choir and publicly recognize some of the fathers and the mothers, and also the people that have been working hard to make not only this dream a reality, but what the future of this community, the exciting future of this community holds. As it relates to this project, I need to first and foremost recognize the current board and leadership of the National Comedy Center, and the leadership, you heard it before, Tom Benson, Journey Gunderson, George Ponabianco, the board president, as well as all the other board members, the staff, the volunteers, and the donors and the consultant teams that made what was a dream many years ago a reality and possible for us to be here today. Thank you. Speaking of the money people, the Jamestown Area Foundation community, going back over 30 years now, have literally changed the economic trajectory of this community. Organizations like Gebby and Sheldon and the Community Foundation and the Lene Foundation, until they engaged in the economic development process of this community, we were at best treading water. They have been the rocket fuel to move this community forward, and have brought other foundations and other funders from outside the area on board. Thank you, foundation community, and a special shout out to Greg Edwards, who over the past several years has been everything Comedy Center, right down to the point me catching him on the street yesterday, checking out wayfinding signs to make sure that the arrows were pointed in the right direction. Greg Edwards and the foundation community. And I would be remiss if I did not recognize a group that I refer to proudly as Team Jamestown. And that's my city council, past and present, our board and agency and commission members, and the greatest municipal staff that you're going to find anywhere on the planet. I have 450 people that serve the community every single day, everything from public power down to the Parks and Recreation Department, to the maintenance staff, to the administrative staff. These people are the engine that make this community go on a daily basis, and I'm so proud and honored to work with them every day. Thank you, Team Jamestown. And last, but certainly not least, and maybe most importantly on this day and every day over the past several years, and that's Governor Andrew Cuomo and the state of New York. In starting with and including the legislative process and the support that he's given through the legislature and the budgetary support, and all of the tremendous administrative team, the alphabet soup, ESD, DOT, DOS, on and on and on, Office of Parks, Recreation, Historic Preservation. These are all agencies that we work together with on a daily basis. They take their cue, they take their direction from the top. They are terrific to work with. We've seen a sea change in state government over the past 8 years, and the results are not only here in Jamestown, but all over the state, because we have a real partner now in the state of New York. They're terrific to work with, Governor. You're blessed to have a great staff. We're blessed to have them to work with, and it's quite clear that they take their cue and their example right from the second floor of the Capitol every day, and are working to be customer service oriented and helping us go over, around, and through barriers to get things done. Thank you very much, State of New York, but most importantly, the governor of this state. I've been around for a long time, for about 40 years. Started out as an intern in 1979 in legendary Mayor Steve Carlson's office. And I've seen a lot of great people at the state level and great governors, but none better than this man in the front row. He takes his job seriously. He's continuing a lifelong love affair with a place called New York, and it's evident by what's happening all over this state every single day. We are blessed, we are fortunate, and he took, and it's unprecedented. We've seen some big projects happen in Jamestown in the past, and I've witnessed projects all over the state where the state has stepped up and played a transformational role in. But I have never, ever been experienced with a project with a governor taking a personal interest in it as he did with the National Comedy Center project. He picked up the ball on the 45-yard line and, like William the Refrigerator Perry, crashed it into the end zone with $15 million of direct state investment in this project. And it is not an exaggeration to say that if it had not been, and by the way, for you folks under 40 in the room, Google William Refrigerator Perry and the 1986 Chicago Bears, and you'll know what the metaphor that I'm talking about. But Governor Cuomo charged this into the end zone, and literally we would not be here today without his personal interest in the project. And I just want to relate to you, I've had the pleasure and the honor to be in the governor's company on many occasions over the past several years. And he always opens the conversation like this. Sam, how you doing? You need any help? And as I'm reaching in the pocket to get my list out, he quickly pivots and turns the conversation to, how's that comedy center coming? And when's it opening? And my answer every time is, it's going great, Governor, and it's going to open when you told us it was going to open. So he's taken a personal interest in it. That's why we're here today, as well as the rest of the team that has made this dream a reality. And it goes out to many, many of you in the audience today. And now, the most important part. We want to cut a ribbon and get this party started? Yes. Stand up, give you all yourselves a round of applause, and stay put. We're going to get the ribbon cut and then enjoy this place for the next 100 years.